trade rumors are one of the most intriguing parts of the offseason. It gets even better when the Bengals are connected time and time again to huge names within the NFL. Today we'll break down who Bleacher Report feels Cincinnati could go after, should go after, connected to, everything set with that. Plus, we got our over-under predictions in the NFL, expectations that come with that, win totals. How are the Bengals looking? What should we expect from the Bengals in that hodgepodge of over-unders? We'll jump into that one. Exciting news, though. We will be at the NFL Scouting Combine. That's right. All the coverage you could want pertaining to the Bengals, pertaining to the NFL. Again, getting you set for the NFL offseason for free. All you have to do is hit that sub button, and you'll get all the Combine news we're bringing to you. All right, first big name that is being rumored or listed by Bleacher Report as a possible trade, mock trade, should be a trade for the Bengals, is Dexter Lawrence. No, I will not be doing the sexy Dexy dance here. You can look it up online if you want. Bleacher Report says the Bengals should make it happen, and the Giants could look to make it happen. In this scenario, the swap for the defensive tackle, the Giants get the Bengals' second-round pick. Yes, you're giving up the 41st pick and a fifth-rounder next year in exchange for Lawrence and, some even-it-out compensation in that 2026 sixth-round pick. So you can take a strong look at what you're getting, what the Giants are getting. Look, if the Giants aren't usually getting a high pick, or if we look at any trade, and the team's not getting a high pick or another player, they're usually trying to dump the money, right? That's the biggest thing here. Here's the lowdown. I mean, Dexter Lawrence had a solid season last year. We'll get more into what he does well in just a second. Marshall Green from Giants Now breaking it down. He said this trade would disgust him as a Giants fan. Not getting enough for Dexter Lawrence is what he said there. But again, the big thing here, 2 years remaining on his contract and about $26 million cap hits, two of them in 2026, upcoming year, and the year after, right? So that's the Giants' motivation to get rid of Dexter Lawrence, would be back-to-back years of $26 million cap hits. Again, if you have a good defensive tackle, great. Some consider it a premier position and a big part of the defense. Others feel you can, get the job done with three mediocre ones. Now, Bleacher Report's thoughts on Dexter Lawrence at this point in his career and his fit with the Bengals. The 6'4", 340-pound nose tackle is one of the most unique interior defenders in the league. Not only can he two-gap and stuff the run, but he also posts better pass rush production than a lot of three-techs. So, take another look. Take a second. Pause the video. Really think it over. Grade the trade. If the Bengals did this trade with the Giants, how would you feel about it? How would you grade it? A, B, C, D, or F? Let us know down below. Do it. Get it done. That is my message for the Bengals. We're seeing Max Crosby, bring back Trey Hendrickson, that. This is on that level. This would be, something great for Cincinnati's defense getting Dexter Lawrence. You get energy. You get talent. You get charisma, right? And everyone loves the sexy Dexy dance, but it's like Bleacher Report said, right? Stuffing the run, getting after the quarterback, everything you want out of a premier defensive tackle. Fans, time and time again, defensive tackle's a need. Don't like our defensive tackle. Replace the guys we have. Dexter Lawrence would be perfect. I will note, let's say this trade goes down right away or pretty quick into the offseason. This would be your big trade. This would be your big move, right? This is your Max Crosby trade. This is your so on and so forth for the Bengals. Absolutely. They could still get into other things, sign other guys, make other moves, no doubt about that. However, if they get a trade done for a guy like Dexter Lawrence or Dexter Lawrence specifically, that would be Bengals fans. That's your big move. Right after that, I would expect them to fill the roster out around a guy like that and feel like they did a lot for the defense by doing this trade. We've got another trade to look at in just a second. However, I want to let you guys know you can shoot your shot on PrizePicks and get $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. That's right. PrizePicks is now giving you $50 in lineups when you sign up and play your first $5. PrizePicks makes every dunk, every dime, every board that much more exciting. So don't miss the chance to get started on America's #1 app for Sports picks. My best friend didn't even know what a pick and roll was. Then we started playing on PrizePicks. Next thing you know, he's texting me every day, different lineups he's got, my thoughts on his lineup, so on and so forth. That's kind of the benefit of sometimes you guys don't have something in common. Show them how PrizePicks work. Show them the fun of PrizePicks. Now, I want to do something different with you guys today. Get a little baseball action in. Shout out to my guy Jack on our Red Sox channel. Thought I'd get some Red Sox guys on the lineup today. Less on the Brian Bello. Good example here. You can go with the ERA. You can also go with Ks for a guy like Garrett Crochet. Totals. More on the 225 and a half strikeouts. Roman Anthony poised for a big year. More on the 21 and a half home runs there. And then more on Nick Kurtz multi-homer games. He was bashing the ball last year. I'm hoping he will do the same this season. So that's a baseball lineup. We've done hoops, we've done football, and now on to baseball. Get involved with PrizePicks now. You can also do stacks, meaning you can pick the same player up to 3 times. Good example, if you want more on Stephen Curry, you can do his points, 3-pointers, and assists. You can pick all of them in the same lineup. So, hey, if you're a Steph fan, go for Steph 3 times all in one night. Download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. The other trade mentioned by Bleacher Report, or at least the Bengals were listed amongst the trade package suitors, whatever you want to call it. They said the Bengals would be a good trade partner, getting involved, whatever, for Minkah. Yes, Minkah Fitzpatrick. Look, he's played AFC North football. He's played well for the Dolphins, SEC football. They think the Bengals could make a move for him. The exact trade package. Now, this one is a little more interesting as far as what you're giving up and what you're getting. The Dolphins would get the Bengals' 3rd-round pick and next year's 7th-round pick. The Bengals getting Minkah and a 2027 5th. So, you are giving up that 3rd rounder, but you're coming in close, right? Then it's 5th next year, 7th next year, Minkah, so on and so forth. Now, the pick stuff's tough, and that's why, honestly, a lot of trades don't get done in the NFL because they can't. It's very difficult to just, throw picks here and there and value this, and then they're worried about next year and the year, whatever. First things first, Minkah Fitzpatrick would absolutely be an upgrade over Geno Stone. So if that makes you happy enough to get this deal done, if you say, I want to win now and I want to be better than last year, great. Shake the hand of, the new Dolphins GM and go get Minkah if that's your feeling on that one. If you really want to break down value of where Minkah Fitzpatrick's at in his career, okay year for the Dolphins last year after the Steelers. Clearly, I think it's notable here, guys. The Steelers deemed him no longer able to compete in the AFC North. That is my personal opinion. He couldn't hang with that level of defense that they want to run. They moved him to the Dolphins. Also, huge cap hit this season coming up. That is the Dolphins' motivation to move on from Minkah Fitzpatrick, right? They were going for it last year. They're clearly in a, not even a retool, it's a rebuild at this point in time. So, again, with Minkah, you upgrade your safeties room immediately. Whether it's for Geno Stone or just to have him in the room or just be a part of the defense, absolutely, you are better than last year adding Minkah Fitzpatrick. However, back of my mind over and over, what you are giving up, that bang in what you're giving the Dolphins keeps hitting me over and over. You give up that 3rd-round pick, plus you take on the money they are clearly trying to get rid of, clearly trying to move on from. I like Minkah. I think he's still got some gas left in the tank. That contract's looking to be moved for the 2nd time for the same reason, and it is, and I will say, it's the final year of his deal. Nonetheless, it's an $18 million cap hit for Minkah Fitzpatrick at this point in his career. Sound off in the comment section below. Let us know what you think. Should the Bengals trade for Minkah Fitzpatrick? Type Y for yes, type N for no. All right, I promised we would talk win totals for the Bengals coming up next season, where they're predicted. Important to go back through the past couple of years. Take a look there. We all know we're trying to get back to 2022, aren't we? Right? No doubt about it. At points, feels like we're almost there. At points, like last season, you feel very far away. Injuries, so on and so forth. Past of the past, just wanted to establish where the Bengals have been. CBS giving out those win totals. You'll see a lot of like odds makers or just everybody. It's not overly different. So, shout out CBS, but they probably got them from similar stuff anyway. Baltimore, top of the division right now, looking for a bounce back year from Lamar Jackson. Look at, but Ravens have done it over and over, but they've made a coaching change. They've made some changes. They're at 10.5. Bengals at 9.5 wins over under. We'll get to that in just a second. The Steelers, unsure if their quarterback is returning, right? So we'll see on that. And the Browns, unsure if they have a quarterback in Shedeur Sanders. Still might draft one, still might sign one. I mean, these win totals could change, I don't know, after the combine. Anything could happen with these bad boys. The Bengals at 9.5. My thought there. That's right. That feels correct. That's about where we're going to gauge what the Bengals do next season. You may say to yourself, hey, I predict they'll be the same as the last few years, 9-8, right? Under the 9.5 total. Fair. They were in the hunt final few weeks. They were trying to get to the playoffs. You could say they're over that 9.5. They're at 10 wins, 11, 12 wins. I could believe that too. If things go right for them, the right additions, right timing, right health for these players, I can see them winning 12 games, the same as 2022. So at 9.5, I think that vibe's right. You're either a contender, looking at being one of the best in the division, in the NFL, competing for the Super Bowl, or just under 9.5, it's the same as the past few years, right? Some things didn't go your way, and you're just barely going to miss the playoffs. It's as I say in many situations. Sounds like the Bengals to me at 9.5 games. All right, let's hear it from you guys to wrap up the show today. Fill in the blank. The Bengals will win games in 2026.